Hello, everyone. Welcome to Turn Left Magnify podcast. Today, we have someone who takes his flight for free. And when I say free, he's not taking those flights on points and miles. He is literally taking them free. And we will know how he does that. I recently met Kalpit through mutual friends, and I thought he's someone who should definitely join the podcast. He currently works in United Airlines in the finance team. He has done his master's in finance and strategy through ISB Hyderabad. He has been traveling a lot recently, but not through points and miles. So let's hear it from him. Welcome, Kalpit. Welcome to the show. Tell us about your background and how you got into United Airlines.
Awesome. Thank you, Pranav. Hey guys, I am Kalpit. I am from Ambala, Haryana, and I did my bachelor's in economics from Punjab University, Chandigarh. Then I moved to Hyderabad for my first job with CBI India, where I spent 4.5 years. And I was in real estate, and I ended up traveling to a lot of um, domestic states in India, and that's it. That was my exposure to United, traveling within India. In 2022, I joined ISB, did my MBA from there, and then joined United Airlines in 2023. And
Okay.
since then, it's been just one trip or the other. Yeah, it's been fun. Like I'd tell you more about my work at United, but you'll probably get bored versus the topic that we have today. So yeah, that's about me. And if I'm not traveling, I have pets in 4 different species, so I like to take care of them. So yeah, that's pretty much me.
Super. What takes you from real estate to finance?
Yeah, so even in real estate consulting, my work was pretty much around financial led mandates, like helping developers secure uh, funds and debt structuring and working around entire project finance
Okay.
domain for real estate assets. So base was kind of set in those 4.5 years. And at ISB, I got more clarity that, okay, finance is where I want to build more impact and my career in. And hence got a really good opportunity at United where, the perks were really great that you
Okay.
could to travel, and work-life balance is also relatively far better than what you would see in conventional corporate settings. So yeah, then I thought, why not United?
So, what exactly do you do at United, and what is your day-to-day work look like?
Sure. So at United, I work with their financial planning and analysis team,
Okay.
where I look after fleet strategy, flight profitability system, mileage plus, and ancillary revenue portfolios, in which my day to day can be, divided into structured tracking of your financial and operational metrics, along with the projects that helps senior leadership take certain decisions around, whether we should take one fleet or the another, how a specific market is doing, how we are doing year on year in general, or doing those 0 to 1 programs on how do we make this particular route better. What should we do? Should we fly more? Should we change the aircraft? And those strategy led programs. So that's pretty much around it. And then some projects on helping other teams as well. Like finance is a very horizontal space, so we work in coherence with other verticals of United. For example, tech ops, if they are help on certain analysis, or sales team or digital marketing team where they want to help in making sure that what kind of budget they should be looking at, yearly plans for revenue and cost teams. So those kind of things, kind of some of my work that I do at United.
Super, super. You are someone who is behind Mileage Plus also. And what does United look for Indian market, especially?
Right. So with Mileage Plus, when I say I support Mileage Plus or work around Mileage Plus, I look at a specific portion of how that entire portfolio is structured. Like I look at international credit cards and non-air partners. And
Okay.
when I say I look at these, so I work for their accruals, their forecasting, and how their, variance tracking, and, how a specific partner is behaving. So more on finance aspect of it, how it is looking for us and how we can help forecast what we can expect out of these partners in terms of revenue, and similarly help team plan strategies that, okay, certain kinds of partners are working well for us. Let's say hotel and cabs and like website partners are buying a lot of miles from us. Is there a specific reason, or how contracts look like, and when the threshold is about to hit, so we can inform the business teams in time, like, okay, this is how it looks so far. should we be concerned? Should we, forecast more, or is there any change in strategy? So not a lot of strategical work, but a lot
Mm.
of finance-led decision making and insight tracking and looking at variances.
Interesting. A very interesting topic to the audience as well as me, because internally, how an airline treats their loyalty program, how they make money out of it, and some of the airlines, including United, I'm sure they had very strong asset base because of Mileage Plus during COVID times as well.
Yeah, so Mileage Plus has certainly grown as a separate business vertical that is able to now finally sustain itself and has been able to support other verticals. So during COVID, I remember this was all in the news as well, that United took certain amount of debt against their Mileage Plus portfolio as an asset.
Yeah.
So that speaks volumes that, okay, banks and other institutions are considering this as a very strong asset that can be backed to take finances, and then interest rate could be different or basis the other normal collateral and non-collateral route. So definitely as an asset it has grown, and now you'd see the entire ecosystem around points and Mileage Plus for United has grown a lot, like from our app to credit cards that they have in partnerships with US banks and other banks. The whole ecosystem is coming out very well, and the product offering also has improved a lot over last couple of years. Like, company is really investing in their user experience, from Wi-Fi to better business seats and economic seats. So I think, like,
Polaris.
yeah, Polaris. Yeah, it's one of the best business class that I've flown.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
did it?
Yeah. So from Newark to Delhi, I flew Polaris, and it was great. The entire flatbed feels very different. And like, I've flown flatbed full business class on Lufthansa as well. And
Okay.
although Lufthansa has a slightly, I think, older aircraft on which we fly from Delhi to Munich, but
Okay.
this particular aircraft with Polaris and new Elevate seats and new entertainment systems in United was really good of an experience.
Yeah, coming to the point, how do you fly for free? What is it that when you say you are an employee of United, people say they get to fly for free? What exactly is that? Can you tell us?
Yes, absolutely. It is pretty similar to flying for free, but it's not like that I can just, show up and fly anywhere that I want to on the day that I want to. How it works is, you list yourself as a passenger in
Okay.
standby
Okay.
for a route that you want to fly. And this is not limited to just United, but also to the partner airlines and Star Alliance. So there are like around 23 or 27
Mhm.
airlines that you can, travel on because you're an employee of United. And so you list yourself on these routes, on these flights freehand. And so the cutoff timing is before 2 hours, you can list yourself on any flight. Like, for example, if I'm sitting right now and if
Uh-huh.
there's a flight, let's say 1 a.m. from Delhi to, let's say, there's 1:50 a.m. flight from Delhi to Munich. So if I want to go to Munich and if I have Schengen visa and if I see some seats open, I can just go and like go to
Wow.
Munich. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but that's the like, I mean, it comes with a lot of caveats. Of course, we can talk more about that in the video, but yes, it's basically listing yourself and then, following the loads, and then, just going at the airport. Or there are certain apps, like, when I joined and I was learning more about standby, I found out that there are a lot of apps that help you track, okay, how many seats are open right now and how many people have listed as standbys in that particular flight. So you
Oh.
get to know that, okay, although it shows like 10 seats open, there are 8 people also who are like listed for standby. So then you can maybe park your chances that, okay, should I just take the other flight, or should I just, not go through the hassle of going to the airport? Because if
Got-
the other standby travelers came out to be, let's say, pilot or in-flight crew or their own employees who would have better priority than I would have on that airline, then there's no chance that I will make that flight.
Okay. Let's say you decide to fly from Delhi to Munich, as you
Mhm.
mentioned, or Delhi to New York. Can you walk us through the process of what exactly do you have to do?
Okay, so let's say I've decided that I want to travel from Delhi to Munich.
Okay.
Okay, so now Delhi to Munich, I will first look at what all aircraft carriers are
Mhm.
flying from Delhi to Munich. And
Okay.
if those aircraft carriers are part of Star Alliance, then I
Mhm.
will be able to book those particular flights.
Wow.
Now, yes, and not all the flights will be listed on for standby. So, for example, Air India or Lufthansa, what they would do is if it's a very busy route for them, they will open very less seats in standby, or they will not list it on standby at all. So, for example, in domestic, if you see 6 flights going from, let's say, Delhi to Goa, but you will only see couple of flights listed on standby for staff. So similarly, now you have your flight figured out. Okay, Lufthansa and Swiss Airline are going to Europe from Delhi. Given the destination that I want to, I'll either pick Delhi to Zurich or Delhi to Munich. So now between these two, I will also look at what aircraft they are flying. So,
Okay.
like for example, if it's a bigger wide body aircraft, it will have more economy seats
Yeah.
or more business seats. Then it just adds my chances to make the standby. And
Got it.
once I've finalized everything, then I will make a priority list. Okay, there are 3 flights from 2 different carriers, and my best chances are Delhi to Munich in A380 from Delhi to Munich. Second is my Delhi to Zurich. And third is if I can go to Frankfurt and then from Frankfurt to somewhere else, and it's a smaller aircraft again, comparatively smaller. And then once all of this is done, then I will start tracking like 3 or 4 days in advance of
Mm-hmm.
my flight. So I'll just see that how many seats are open and economy versus business, and
Mm-hmm.
like which one is available. Like is it the train is moving slower than the other.
Yeah.
So how I do that is I will go to Google Flights and I will search for the max passenger allowed for that cabin type,
Oh,
and then
Google
see.
show that as well.
Yes. So, I mean, it doesn't directly show that. So, what I do is I put like 9 packs, like maximum packs in one-way route, and then I
Okay.
search. So, if there are more than, if it's allowing me to book 9 packs
Okay.
right now, so there are definitely more than 9 or at least 9 seats available, right? So, this is something that you do as like a, last resort check on the day of flight that, okay, there are seats. Because sometimes those staff traveler apps are not 100% accurate. But if Google is allowing you to buy a ticket, then there should be a ticket available. And once you see all of that, then you decide what cabin you want to fly. Do you want
Okay.
to fly economy? Do you want to fly economy plus or business class? So, not all airlines allow business class for staff travelers, but what I've seen in my experience, most of them do. So, there will
Okay.
be either economy or business. There will be no economy plus for most of the staff travelers that I've seen. Then, okay, I'll go ahead and let's say I've been ambitious. Okay, let's try for a business class seat from Delhi to Munich. And
Mm-hmm.
now I will put my focus in tracking if these seats are available and there are enough loads and how many people have listed themselves. And then once I feel that this looks good, then I'll finally go to the airport. And I've made mistakes in the past where I've just gone to the airport and waited for, okay, I'll just roll over to the next flight. But now I know that, okay, the chances of me making the flight are good enough. And in some airlines you can actually call them and ask that, okay, I'm a listed staff traveler,
Okay.
and can you tell me if the loads are in like good state? Like if available seats are in double digits, is it possible that I will be making that flight, or are there any other
And
listed passengers? So things like that.
yeah.
And then you go to the counter, and still it's not final that you'll get the seats, because there are some last minute changes. Like for example, if somebody missed their previous flight and they
Mm-hmm.
would be rebooked in another flight that is going right now,
Uh-huh.
so airlines make you wait till 1 hour before the departure time. So
Okay.
then you get to finally know that you'll make the flight or not. So it's a lot of stress. It's a lot
Okay.
of ambiguity, and especially when you're traveling in a group. Let's say you're traveling with your friends, and all your friends make it to the destination, and then you are the only one who's like looking for flights, and that has happened with me. But yeah, it's still uncertain. But the rush of making it to Munich in just 5,000 rupees is insane.
Oh yeah. Before coming to the cost, is there an app or a website where you check all of these, and is there a Starlens specific app they give, or how is it?
So there are multiple apps. The one that I use is called Staff Traveler. It has
Okay.
this blue logo, and what it does is it tells you by route. So even if it's a Star Alliance or any other airline partner, the route will show up there. And
Okay.
so either you can buy the premium, which allows you to just request for n number of routes that you want to look at, or you can just like they have the ads and they have these other ways of you earning those credits. But I've found that app to be mostly accurate to a point where it gives you enough confidence to go to the airport.
So app that you mentioned is by United or by Star Alliance, or it is a third party app?
It's a third party app. It's not by United.
Okay.
In United app, I can only look at my United staff traveler details only, but
Okay.
not the other airlines. So every staff traveler in every airline will have two ways of booking a ticket. One, so their own airline that they work in will have a dedicated app and a portal that they can directly book.
Okay.
And
Okay.
all the other are booked through My ID travel portal. And I think that's common for mostly all other airlines. So
Okay.
based on your airline and your airline's group, all the flights available for a particular route are listed there. So you'll go there and you'll pick a route and flight, and then you just book it on that portal. Initially, what you used to happen, you had to call the airline and then list yourself as a staff traveler. And this portal basically does that for you. So
Got
it will give you a booking reference number. It will give you a full-fledged ticket so that you can enter the airport, and
Got it.
then you go to the counter and show them that, okay, listed myself, so just let me know once my, like, if it's available or not. In
Got
certain cases, I have received boarding pass well before time as well, because the route had good amount of seats available, so the staff only takes that call and gives you the boarding pass. And in an unfortunate scenario, if that ticket was to be sold 1 hour before, they will ask you to get down from the
Oh, is
airport.
it? Even after
Yeah, yeah.
giving you boarding pass?
Even after, because they cannot deny a revenue passenger. We're still all non-revenue, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
You
yeah,
are
so
free
that's
guys.
yeah. And I've heard from people that their bags have reached the destination itself, and they were asked to get down.
Really? Typically, that
Yeah,
does not happen, right?
that typically should not happen. Like,
Yeah. That
but
should
if
not.
it comes in, like, for example, if your a bag is already loaded, you're in the flight, and there's somebody else who comes up, because your bags are loaded while you are boarding, that entire process starts. So,
Yeah.
and if that will delay all the other passengers, I think they might just skip it. And there have been cases where people have given their bags, but staff could not, like, communicate properly that you might not make it.
Mhm.
So they were not cleared at the gate just during
Oh,
the boarding, and the
okay.
bags were in Europe or somewhere else. So yeah, that can also happen. So this is what they advise generally. So if the loads are really generous, like if the seats are really available, are good enough that you will definitely make it, only then keep your bags for check and drop. Otherwise, take it to your gate, and they will then help you manage however it goes.
Okay.
But it's really tricky.
Okay. So when you say you want to book a ticket, do you go on to the whether your United app for the staff or the other
Yeah.
website? Do you pay for that ticket?
So I pay for the minimum tax that has to be paid for that
Okay.
airport.
Okay. Okay.
So, and I think there's a very small platform fee,
Okay.
like $1 or so.
Okay.
And then there is another staff fee that is charged differently for different airlines. Like
Got it.
for Lufthansa, it will be different. For let's say it will be different, or for any other airline, it will be different. But the tax is the same. Yeah.
So typically for domestic, how much are the taxes?
So I think put together, like, I do not have the breakup, but taxes are the 95% of the cost. And let's say you're traveling from Delhi to Goa, your ticket will be around 2,000 rupees, flat 2,000. Even if you book like 2 hours before, it will still be that. So it's like a flat rate across.
Okay. Okay. So you are on standby, right? So
Yeah.
does the priority list look like? So are all employees equal, or is there a hierarchy that they maintain?
Yes. So there's a hierarchy for sure.
Okay.
And it boils down in two broad categories.
Mhm.
One is your all must flies. So your pilots and in flight crew will always have a better priority than employee, such as myself.
Mhm.
And within M&A employees, if you bifurcate between all the senior leadership versus the rest of, I think the gap for rest of M&A is not that significant that it will actually change that who goes first. I mean, in terms of, for example, if I am listed on an airline for my upcoming travel, and there's like person two or three levels up than me, and so we might have a similar hierarchy or a priority order basis on when we also reach the airport. Like, for
Oh,
example, if I am there and, a person comes very late and they've already issued my boarding pass, then they cannot ask me to come back
okay.
until unless it's a must fly or a senior person. So they are always informed initially that, okay, this is the list and this is the priority order. So they will only not give me the ticket if the case is such that there are must flies and better priority individuals before me. And
Okay.
it varies from like airline to airline.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned M&A. What is that?
So all your cabin crews and your pilots are in in-flight and cockpit side of the world, and those are all must flies. Like
Okay.
most of the cases, if
Okay.
they're off duty, then no. But
Okay.
in cases like they have to make it to a certain connection for
Mhm.
another flight from a destination, then they are must flies.
Yeah.
But if they are also traveling for leisure, then they will come in our M&A category only, like as a general employee off duty.
Okay.
So yeah, and all M&A will be everybody else than cabin and cockpit.
So do you get to pick your cabin or is it always
Yeah,
economy?
yeah. So we can pick. So I can choose to list myself in business,
Okay.
and then let's say business gets filled last minute, so they will bump me down to whatever is available next, either economy or a premium economy. Luckily, there has never been a case where I have boarded a business and then asked to, come down a cabin. But like, there's this one story I'll tell you. So there was this one time where I was traveling with my sister and brother-in-law,
Okay.
and I had booked a business for all three of us. And then what happened? And it's all random. The allocation on standby, if you get the seat, it's random. They will not look at, okay, this is your name and you should go in here first, or your friends should go in business over you. So both my sister and brother-in-law, they standby approved for business, and I was bumped down to premium economy. And the and that I got to know while boarding. During boarding, they will ask you like all your business passengers should go in that row, and then all your economy and premium economy should go in that row in that zone. So I was like, I was going there, and then when they scanned my boarding pass, sir, you're in premium economy, you're not in business. And then I saw my sister and brother-in-law just waving back at me. I thought, okay, enjoy.
Where were you flying?
I was flying to Munich
From Delhi.
from Delhi. Yes.
Long flight.
Yeah, it's a very long flight. It felt even longer. It was around 9 hours
Uh-huh.
from here, and yeah, it definitely felt longer. And that was one of my longest flight yet that
Okay.
I had taken. So yeah, fun.
Okay. So does this extend to your family members like spouse, parents, friends?
Right. So the benefits that I can share with my family and friends, there are different tiers and different categories, and
Okay.
airlines have their own agreements with our airline that okay, your employees can only take your wife, or
Okay.
your employees cannot take anybody else than just themselves on the
Okay.
flight. So for my wife,
Mm-hmm.
all the benefits are copy paste. Like if I can make it to a particular airline, then she can also travel. Like similar benefits.
Okay.
For my parents, they can definitely fly on United, like as I am flying, and on select airlines in Star Alliance, they can travel on European carriers. They can travel via Air India, and Air India basically opens up a lot of routes.
If
So
India is there, then sorted.
exactly, if Air India is there, then you know that okay, one Air India flight will absolutely will going. So
Yeah.
there's this Air India Delhi to Denpasar that started going directly, right? So that's a
Yeah.
brilliant route,
Oh,
to take your parents. And individually, it's an expensive flight. I think it comes around to be 45-ish round trip. And so, yeah, and people still prefer to go from either India to Singapore and then Singapore to Indonesia,
yeah.
or India to Malaysia, then Indonesia. So direct flight, you still find loads on off-season days. So, yeah, so
How
that's
much do
there.
you pay for the Bali flight?
How much did I pay for my Bali flight? I think I paid 12,000 rupees round trip for
Wow.
myself.
Okay.
Yeah,
1/4 of the cost.
one fourth, easily one, and that too in season. Like I traveled in July on that route. Like in July is when they do not have a monsoon, and it's actually a peak season for them.
Okay. So your spouse is exact copy paste. Your parents can also do United for sure and certain Starlines Airlines. Anyone else?
Yes. So before I registered my wife on the portal, I had option of having an enrolled friend also in my list. So
Okay.
what that does is, so that enrolled friend can take all the benefits that I was eligible for, but only for United Airlines.
Okay. Okay.
So I have a cousin in Canada who has a US visa, and for first 2 years, for 1.5 years, I listed him as my enrolled friend, and he was just taking flights right, left, and center.
That United is looking at this.
Yeah, and I'm like, so this is a very interesting trip he made. So he went from Vancouver to San Francisco
Okay.
to NRT, Japan, Narita,
Wow.
and then back, all in under $60.
Wow.
And
Oh, taxes are so low even for international.
yeah, like for example, if you're flying United, and I think on certain routes you don't have to pay taxes also. Like the taxes are very less for employees. So
Wow.
$60. His Uber was more expensive than this. And then another trip he made to Costa Rica, I think, like with the same benefits. And then last year we met in Chicago and we went to New York, and he flew down with the benefits from like Vancouver to US. And then he has made several trips within US. He has gone and watched MLS games when Messi was playing on these benefits, and I was super jealous. And like, wow.
What is the process of getting to your friend list?
So yeah, nice. So basically, so that enrolled friend, I can have it anybody that I take responsibility for and like submit their documents. And along with that, within domestic, United actually has this buddy pass. So buddy
Okay.
pass would be discounted tickets.
Okay.
So let's say you're traveling within uh, United States and you're going coast to coast. Let's say San Francisco to Chicago.
Yeah.
And if the ticket is $120 ish, and your buddy will get a discounted ticket at, let's say, $40 or $60, if
Wow.
that's all. And again, that is still standby, but
Okay.
still better than, paying regular fare. And domestic, generally, people do make standbys more than international in US because of the frequency of the flights that,
Okay.
go between hubs and cities. So that's pretty nice. And then I think other than that, in terms of friends, I can take friends on Lufthansa, up to two friends with me who are not related,
Okay.
and then on Swiss and on LOT Airlines, the
LOT.
Polish airline LOT. Yeah. So these three allow you to take companions with you who are not directly related, and you can, I think, take 10 of such tickets for your companions in one calendar year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And the
which is
calendar year has recently started. Anyone who is watching this, friend of Kalpit, should definitely reach out to Kalpit.
the only catch is that I have to be there, so you cannot travel without me. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. And how about Air India? When should I come to see you in Delhi?
Okay, so Air India actually doesn't allow you to take companions. It extends to your in-laws as well. So like
Okay.
how you can take your parents, Air India allows you to take your in-laws as well.
Nice.
So that's pretty sweet. And other than that, it's pretty strict, I think, for at least for Southeast Asian carriers, your Thais and other air carriers, you cannot take friends along, but it's just these limited European carriers that allow. But it's still pretty sweet of a deal, and like at least if you can help your friend go to Europe or like Lufthansa or Swiss airline with you, it's still a hefty cost that you'll save as a group.
How many free flights have you taken so far?
Okay, so the number is not huge. It says 16 or 18 flights,
Okay.
but all those flights were long hauls, more than 5 hours or 5 hours or so. Yeah, that's pretty much the number. So I've been to 8 countries from India in last 2.5 years. Most of them were, very pre-planned trips along my work and with my friends. And so, yeah, I think 16 flights is what I have taken for free. And I think only 4 of them were economy class, and then rest of them
Wow.
were business.
That
Yeah.
is 75% is a pretty good ratio. Pretty good ratio for business versus economy.
Yep. And the only economy flight long haul that I regret, but I am still glad that I got the standby, is Delhi to EWR. 14 hours in
Yeah.
economy, it was horrible. And when I got Polaris coming back from New York, I was so happy. I think I slept the entire way. And when I got here, I was so fresh that, okay, there's no jet lag. But yeah, it was great.
Was it leisure or was it for work?
So it was for work,
Okay.
but I decided to travel before my work trip started, so
Okay.
that I can just spend some time exploring and then continue my work trip and then come back.
If
Yeah.
it is for work versus leisure, is there a difference in priority that they put you in?
So yeah, so if you are going for work, you can list yourself as positive space. So
Okay.
positive space is basically you're flying on company's money. Like it's still non-ref,
Got
but
it.
company is going to make sure that you reach that destination. Only situation that it might not happen is if there are any must flies also in that list that are
Mhm.
supposed to travel. So when you're booking for positive space, they will ask you, "Ki, sir, if you are a must fly or not." Then you always have to answer that you're not a must fly.
Uh-huh.
And in case the response is overwhelming, that they're like all your flight is overbooked, or like you had to move some passengers from a previous flight to this flight,
Uh-huh.
and there are some weight restrictions. So
Uh-huh.
let's say, so what happens is when I say weight restrictions, if a flight has a lot of empty seats, the airline will decide to park some cargo in that route,
Got it.
right? And that cargo will basically, you know,
The weight.
reach the
Yeah.
exactly, and then they will not be able to onboard
Got
standbys.
got got it.
And yeah, so even in positive space, it's dicey sometimes.
Got it. I mean, see, this is the part where I find it very crazy. You are working for an airline who is based out of USA, but you're still flying Air India for free.
Earlier, Vistara and Air India were two different entities for booking.
Mhm.
Like I think before 2024 November.
Mhm.
So there was another platform that we used to book specifically for Air India and Vistara.
Okay.
When they were merged as a single entity for booking going forward, then it started showing up in the MyID travel portal, and then
I
and yeah,
because Vistara was also part of partner airlines with United.
like now that you've said it, so I'm just thinking that before my time also in United, I never paid attention to this. But I think since I've been here in from 2023, like we were able to book both when they were like separate entities as well.
Got it. Got it. Fantastic. I mean, I get that you know fly for free, and if you are listed on a specific airline as a employee and you get the seat, you fly. But I'm sure there were cases where you had to go back. Tell us one or two such stories where it was terrible to get denied boarding.
Yeah. So, Pranav, before tell you this, I'll set some context.
Okay.
So, like for example, in traveling international, the planes are bigger and tickets are more expensive. So, chances are more for you to make it in like good season months also. But
Uh-huh.
whereas in domestic, where there are narrow body
Mhm.
aircraft and the schedules are very packed, it's definitely harder for you to convert domestic, let alone a peak season. And all of this I did not consider
Yeah.
while traveling from Delhi to Goa. So there
Okay.
were 4 or 5 flights listed. I think it was 2023
Okay.
December. Air India and Vistara were like two different entities back then, and they had you know put together like 6 flights throughout
Okay.
the day on that day, and starting off around 10:30 a.m. in the morning till like 9:30 was the last flight. And strategically, I had asked my friends to book an afternoon flight so that
Mhm.
I will try for 2 flights before them, and I
Okay.
will definitely make it. Like 2 flights, I should get a seat, right? And the third flight they're on, and we'll be in Goa at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So what happened? I went to the airport and I asked them, and they were like, "You said this flight is definitely completely booked,
Uh-huh.
and if you're seeing any seats on staff traveler, then it's not updated. So,
Okay.
but I would still suggest you wait. I'll tell you the last minute that if something can be done." I said okay, because again the same problem. If the early morning flight had some seats left, they would park cargo in it.
Correct.
So first standby, I lost to cargo, and
Okay.
then I
You
got
get that because of cargo you couldn't get in?
yeah because the weight threshold was met. So
And where do you find this information?
counter. So I went to the counter and I waited around them. I kept hovering around that okay, is this available? Is it available? So they said no, sir. Like what we can do is without you canceling this and rebooking another listing, we will only transfer your listing from this flight to the next flight.
Got
I
it.
said okay, that's pretty sweet, right? They gave me a different reference number, and now I'm just waiting for another flight. So second flight was like 1.5 hours after that. So I was pretty confident that okay, 1.5 hours will not even feel like I'll get to fly. So I
And
waited.
this time, do you get to go inside of the airport, sit in the lounge, or you are just outside in
You're
the?
just at the outside where the check-in counters.
Okay, that must
And
be
then
very full.
yeah, but the rush was insane. Like I had my friends see me through the first rejection. And they were like, it's okay. We're still at the airport right now with you, right? So like, it's okay. 1.5 hours will pass. We'll just keep talking and just that. And then they made it to their flight because they had a confirmed ticket.
Yeah.
And I could not get into the second flight as well because it was booked. Then they rolled me again for a third time.
Okay.
And third time they were okay. They said definitely you will make it. There are loads around 8 to 9 available seats left. And this particular timing is not that like famous because it was 4 p.m. around, and that time people do not prefer. People either prefer early morning or
Yeah.
traveling late night.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that makes sense. I should have thought about that. Why didn't I come? Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
and now I'm happy that I have some hope.
Okay.
And then there are 2 seats available.
Okay.
And then at last minute, a pilot checks in with his family member and surpasses my priority list. And then I am just there. And at that moment, I have to decide, should I go for the fourth flight? And I've been at the airport since 10 a.m. and it's around 4:30 now, 4:30.
Yeah.
So now, and because the next connection is now at 8 p.m. So I was like, should I or should I not? Should I not? Then, like, my problem is not that I did not make it. My problem is that airline kept giving me hope. Like, okay, sir, the next will be flight. And I think it's not their fault also if somebody just comes 1 hour
Yeah. Of course.
before. So I was like, my friends have already reached. So let's just, wait. And by the time I was also looking for booking a revenue ticket for next day because same day was very expensive. So I booked like a ticket for next day because I was not sure that, okay, now I'm out anyway. And then I finally did not make it that day. And I learned a very, very good lesson. So yeah. But yes, that was horrible.
Was it 2023?
It was 2023. Yeah.
And you were just getting started to the tune of
Exactly.
how it works.
May is when I joined. And
Okay.
6 months after that, my benefits would unlock.
Okay.
6 months period, I am not allowed to book any benefit flights from my benefits at United. So
Okay.
after 6 months, this was actually my first experience with standby. And it
Yeah.
was very discouraging. And I kept thinking that, okay, like, I made some mistakes. And from next time onwards, I was hell bent on making a standby. Like I was so hell bent that I made it happen. And once I did it, and I'm like, okay, now I'm confident. Now that anxiety of the first time standby has gone. So I
Yeah.
know my,
You have seen the worst. So going forward, maybe whatever comes is much easier,
yeah.
much digestible.
But yeah, absolutely. And it gets problematic when you're with a group. Like, for example, if you are like meeting somebody at a destination where everybody's flying from different places, it's fine. But
Yeah.
when the itinerary is only couple of days and then one of your day goes in events like this, so it just feels very discouraging
Yeah.
And then after some time, my friends also got used to this. Okay, you book your own. Are you sure you do not want to book a revenue? And that actually happened in another trip that we can talk about it later. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
How often did this happen? Let's say you took 20 flights so far. How many did you get rejected?
I think 2 more times after this.
Okay. And
Yeah,
what
and
was
it was very close. So again, my experience was these two flights both for Southeast Asia again, both for both for Vietnam.
okay?
So to Ho Chi Minh City, and then it was again I think Air India only, and my fault that I was traveling on a long weekend. That
Oh,
long weekend flight was packed, and then I could not make it. And this is the same mistake I did twice. Like I booked on long weekends because I was traveling with my friends and they get off only on those days. So I
okay.
think that's the trick is pick your season as well. Pick a shoulder season to travel and then manage your loads. And that works. I mean, if everybody gets on board with the plan that okay, we're going to take a random flight on Thursday morning
Just
or a Wednesday night
to get free.
just because Kalpit can get this flight. I'm like, why not?
No, why not? Why not? Was it one flight rejection, two flight again like Goa or
This time I gave up after one flight because the second flight was also looking bad, and then I ended up. So this time around, what I did was I booked a cancelable flight already, like in
okay?
advance, which was not that expensive, and I
Okay.
made it. I made the trip, but yeah, like our first option was always I'll try standby, and
Okay.
next I'll take the flight. So,
Okay.
yeah. But the alternative was I think Jetstar. Yeah. So that airline is ultra low cost carrier and has very, very bad economy
It's
seats.
Vietjet.
Vietjet, yes, Vietjet.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got
They charge you for breathing also on that airline. It's there's just 7 kgs allowed, the cheapest flight.
it. Okay. And okay, so any experience with your parents or wife similar to this where you get denied?
So fortunately, I have not gotten a rejection on standby when I'm traveling with my family and friends.
Super.
And that is because I pre-planned a lot. Like you'd think who would travel on Tuesday night out of blue. So yeah, so basically that is the only way. You have to pick those dates and travel. So the earlier experience I was telling you about, that how I got bumped down from business to economy, was the first time I was flying with companions on Lufthansa. And that experience was pretty smooth. Like they got the seats in the first go. And while coming back, so back of my mind, I was always refreshing that app to see how the loads were looking like when we were coming back. And we were coming back on Christmas
Mhm.
from Munich. So, and that day, the loads for business were at least not that great. So we
Okay.
decided that let's either prepone or like postpone our trip by, or like trip back by a day. Because on 20th and 24th, the like seats were showing open enough that we will all make business back. So we, cut down our trip by a day, and we were already there for 7, 8 days. So it did not, harm, because I specifically told my sister and brother-in-law, see, if we do not make it, we might have to go economy. So they were like both on board. Okay, let's go one day.
Did it ever happen that you are going with your family and let's say two of you are going, one got the ticket and one had to stay behind?
So this was like I was traveling again with my friend to Munich, and we had booked economy for some reason.
Okay.
And then and usually that plane is not packed. Like A380 it's a big aircraft.
Big aircraft, yeah.
And for some reason, because I think again cargo took precedence over us, and we could not make both standby. So I'm like, I am definitely not traveling economy. I was traveling economy because you wanted the thrill to reach there in 5,000, and now we will not go. So we will wait for another day and then go in business. Yeah, because business is slightly more expensive than like a normal economy standby. A
Okay.
business standby would cost you anywhere between 10 to 12,000
Okay.
rupees.
I'm sure that must be changing with airline to airline, route to
Yep.
route as well.
Yep. It's similar to that. Like European carriers would be more expensive than what you would see from India to, let's say, Japan is also almost 8 hours.
Yeah.
So if I compare 8 hours from India to Japan versus 8 hours from Delhi to, let's say, Munich or Zurich, the business class seats would be more expensive on European route versus ANA or India on standby.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Have you ever been bumped off at the gate after thinking you were confirmed? You got the boarding pass, but at the gate you are like, sir, you can't fly.
I was denied a better cabin for sure, but for example, when you're traveling from India, like at Delhi airport, they will not let you go through the security if your chances are less, that you will not make it. So they will not give you that boarding pass there on the counter itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much better than waiting on the gate and then
Yeah,
getting.
coming back. And because from gates, then you'll have to go through the security, fill a form, I think, and then come back. So I've never done that process from coming back to the gate. Although there was this one time where they told me you will definitely make it, but I would suggest do not give your check-in bag to me right now. Like take your bag to the gate, and they will be able to accommodate
And yeah,
where to keep the bag. That time I got anxious. I'm like, why are you saying that? Like
okay.
5 minutes before you were confident that okay, sir, you are going to make the trip, but just in case. And that just in case can linger on for like 2 hours till the flight. Like you're at the boarding gate, and it's stressful. And the flight that I was telling you that I could not make business, and I was waiting. Like I was asking the staff to can you just make one more seat to the upgrade? And there was this another person who was another staff traveler from Air India. And he's like, bro, your brother and sister, like your sister and brother-in-law got, that seat together, and you're only bummed out here. In my case, my wife got business and I am in economy. So I'm telling at least let me sit next to my wife. Alright, I'm like that. That's sad. Just give him the ticket, please. I'll just go back in the car. But that was not the case. Otherwise, I will still not let him take that business seat. But, so yeah, it's nice.
Which all business class did you take?
So I think it's limited to United, Lufthansa, and Swiss. So these
Air India?
three. So Air India business class, I have not taken per se. I've either gone like to long hauls on business class, or so the reason is if I'm going to Europe, my priority is always going to be Lufthansa. That I reach there by Lufthansa. US is United. And every Southeast Asian carrier, the cost for booking a confirmed ticket versus standby struggle is not that, worth it. Like, for example, I was telling you about Vietnam, right? Vietnam, I had booked Viet Jet in like 14,000 rupees return trip. And if I were to book a like confirmed ticket on a better airline with bags, it would come down to, let's say, K or so, like well in advance. And with standby, you'll pay, I think, 10,000 for that round trip economy.
So it
So the
doesn't make
difference is not that great. The difference comes in when you're traveling from Delhi to Japan, so Japan or Bali, because that particular route does not have that many business seats, so it gets sold out pretty soon. So you get to only take like 12 that economy seat for standby in Denpasar and Narita. So ANA does allow for business class seats for its staff alliance partners, but it's almost always full.
I was just going to ask you, when are you trying the room of ANA? It
Yeah.
is one of the best product out there, and
Yeah.
you should definitely go and try it.
Definitely, that's on my list. Like I have a 5-year tourist visa for Japan,
Uh-huh.
and I just came back from Japan in December. Next, whenever I'm getting a chance to travel ANA, like this Japan route is one destination where I keep checking the loads. Like, okay, if the loads are looking good or not, because I have the visa and I have points in my Accor and Marriott. So at least couple of nights or like a week or so, I can easily just travel through my benefits and come back. And now that I'm married, it might take more planning and less impromptu trips. But yes, like ANA is on my list, and ANA and I've not traveled much on Middle East carriers as well, because my thinking was always that okay, why take small haul routes or medium haul routes when I'm with United? Try to take like those long haul routes. Like next, I'm planning to go to Australia or New Zealand, and because that will be a good destination to travel with benefits.
Can you also book Singapore?
I don't think I know first class Singapore suite. You mean right? That entire
The
cabin.
first time Singapore suite?
Yeah, I don't think we are as standby. You can book any first class tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a one only airline partner that was allowing standby for first class, but I don't think that's there anymore. And I can just Google it, but yeah, I mean it's you cannot.
You should definitely try A380 Singapore Airlines.
Yeah. No, I've not flown, but that's on my list. Like I've seen now so many reels of influencer posting that I booked this through Miles, and that's on my list. And maybe when like I'm like saving my points not for hotel, then I'll probably transfer it and then take a airline. And that's basically how my math has been working from last 3 years. That I transfer all my points to hotel
Yeah,
experiences.
makes sense. Your flights are anyways free, so doesn't make sense to transfer to airline partners. And for those who are listening, the Japan stories, we at Magnify are coming up with a airline transfer partner very soon, where you can book business class tickets in just 25,000 mag miles. So stay tuned.
Nice. Is it JAL airline that you're partnering with?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay, exciting.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me some of the best economy seats you got into.
ANA is definitely one of the best economy seats, and some of the uh, domestic flights that I've taken on standby in US had very good economy seats. And then other than that, I think Air India economy seats I've found okay. Like it's a hit and miss like of a situation. Like if long haul economy seats in Air India will definitely be painful. Like I've traveled Delhi to Japan Air India economy as well, and the seats were horrible. Like their entertainment systems were not working, like the in-flight entertainment system. And yeah, I think best I found is ANA economy. That was nice.
Are you flying the room?
Yeah, dude. Like sometimes I get so like that okay, I'll manage a hotel. Let's just park all the points and just get one. There's this. I was looking at.
See, there's no
There's no
fun
way.
flying in miles for you. You have to
Yeah.
try the employee benefit because you are anyway. I mean, with miles you can anyways fly later, right?
Yeah.
But employee benefits and trying the room of ANA should be one of the best experience you can.
Yeah, I keep hearing stories of people that how they managed for an upgrade with like certain friends who work in an ANA of sorts, but I've not tried that firsthand. But I think that can be like one area of that I can explore like the next level for standby. But yeah, and I think like how I think of it is that okay, there's this saying na jitna mila utna acha hai, like types
Yeah,
that like
sense.
so I just don't over
Yeah,
like
makes sense. Makes sense.
with
But maybe
this.
you can try the. I'm sure Delhi Tokyo or Mumbai Tokyo must be very busy route for ANA.
Mhm.
Maybe you can try from Tokyo to somewhere south.
Right, that
Yeah,
I can do.
yeah, somewhere maybe Singapore also must be very busy route for them. But maybe Jakarta or somewhere. Yeah.
I think even if a like small route will not make sense, but yeah, I can definitely think about that. Because what I can also do is like for example, if I'm in Japan and I'm trying to book ANA within that domestic network, I can book like domestic flights on standby as well
Yeah.
in a different country.
Yeah.
And then the partner airlines will open up. Let's say, a European partner which a Star Alliance partner and is not flying from India, but it has domestic connections there. So I can, manage those connections and then take those flights.
Even Taiwan-based Ava Air has a very good business class.
Taiwan, yeah, and Taiwan is actually very close to yeah. I mean, from China, it's close and it's very close to Okinawa.
Yeah.
So maybe till there and then from Okinawa, Japan, you can enter and then
Yeah.
maybe go there.
Tell me something. Do you have to book only point to point, or you can book two segments or three segments in one PNR?
Yeah, I can book three segments in one PNR. I can like for example, whenever I have to apply for visas, let's say, I would book it under one PNR. So I'll enter it like the complete destination, and if there are any connections in between, so the portal only will suggest and give me the entire booking like that.
Have you ever faced that one of the leg is done? I mean, you can board the flight, but maybe next leg you cannot do. Do they allow that?
So then it depends that if you, for example, let's say I'm flying from India to US, but not the regular direct flight. I'm taking India to, let's say, Netherlands, and then from Netherlands to like Chicago or Newark, I will fly on United.
Mhm.
So if I'm taking this route, then I have two different carriers, and then standby for these two will be different.
Oh,
So I will have to manage in a way that okay, that second standby has to come along or there should be another option. So they basically become two different trips. But if it's a similar airline, then also I will be given caution in the beginning itself that the second flight that you're flying might be overbooked. So we can put you on another route, like on another flight after that. So they'll give you that caution before. But even though with standby, I'm still a very, like I'm very conservative when it comes to booking. So I try that, okay, let's just try to make that trip in one go. Otherwise, I have friends, let's say, who are not able to make it to Japan or Bali or any other Southeast Asian countries in a direct flight. They will open up the Sky Scanner. They'll look for all visa-free countries that they have flights, and then they will just go transits and then reach their destinations. I think that requires a lot of patience and lot of confidence on whether you will not be stuck in a third country that you were not planning to be in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Any routes or timings where getting a seat is almost guaranteed, even on standby?
Yeah, it's my favorite route. It's Delhi to Munich,
Okay.
A380,
Okay.
and you will almost always get the seat, like always. The economy, definitely you will always get, and I'll tell you the day also. Like that has worked well in my case. Wednesday, Wednesday early morning, like 1:50 a.m. is one of their flights.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, if the schedule has not changed, and that flight you can always be certain that you will get the seats. And I've flown a couple of times on this, and I've always gotten a standby cleared. So
Did
yeah,
you fly the 747?
747. No, from I think I've not noticed. I
Or 7 is that upper deck queen of the skies.
think I've not flown that.
Yeah.
So the both times that I've gotten a business class seat, it was second upper deck for business class seats. I thought that was my first time seeing. Okay, oh, there's another deck in this plane.
what do airline employees think about points and miles program? I mean, do your colleagues actively collect miles or they do not even bother about it?
So cards that offer good returns on your miles is pretty popular in the circle that I am in United. Even people with like just above starting level salaries also, they also are able to, secure cards like Atlas is almost there in everybody's
Okay.
portfolio in my team.
Okay.
And they're very active in spending outside. And since the quantum of amount that you spend on flights with us, it's very small. So
Mhm.
I've seen them use again the similar pattern that they will rather use it on
Yes.
like hotels, or in other cases that they will take their spouse or their friends on points or like their family members on points and then travel standby themselves.
Understood.
Like, yeah.
Understood. Understood. Any weird story in this segment of employee taking a flight and that you might want to share with us?
Yep. So my colleague, he was traveling from Delhi to Munich and then from Munich to Portugal,
Mhm.
and he made the standby, but his bags did not. Somehow, airlines messed it up, and his bags were still in India.
Okay.
And then he did contact Lufthansa Delhi counterparts and then asked them, when can you send my bag next? And I think he was there for 4 5 days,
Mhm.
and he received his bags in Barcelona on fifth day of his trip. So he had to buy the entire wardrobe again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is very bad.
Yeah, that is very bad. And I'm still surprised that things like this are still happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it happens in a regular, even if you're not on a employee benefit,
mm,
normal passenger also, this is part and parcel of the airline. Does everyone in the organization get it, or is it after certain level you start getting it, or maybe you are at a level, let's say level 5, level 4, and you get access to business premium economy, but maybe someone who is at the level below you gets only access to economy. Is it something related to that?
no, like I've seen people who join right after college, like this is their like first job as well. Like they're just starting at the first level of analysts.
Hmm.
They are also able to book business
Wow.
and like premium economy or any other seats on all the airlines.
Wow.
Like you would not believe that the attrition in my team is so like well managed that I know people who have been working in this team for years. People have gone, studied their like gone for their masters and come back and joined United only again.
Why not?
I mean, why not? So there are people who have joined after like doing their MBA and come back here. Like this has been their one company, and this I think traveling as one of the things it really impacts how you think and how you
Yeah.
see the world in general.
Very true. Very true.
Like my work is somewhat still not does not require me to travel for business that often,
Mhm.
but there are other teams, let's say tech ops or network planning or airport operations analytics team, so they get the opportunity to visit our hubs and
Mhm.
and our international hubs like in Guam or in Heathrow or in other destinations where they would see how the business is getting done and experience those things firsthand and then build strategies around it and help leaders make decisions. So people are traveling for work as well through United in different places. So one of my team members who works on a certain portfolio that has some operation led business in Brazil, so
Mhm.
they went to Brazil
Wow.
to visit a facility on companies money, learned a ton of things, but travel like Latin is massive and beautiful to
Yeah.
travel. Like you go to Brazil, Peru, Chile, there are so many options to go.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my next checklist also. If I'm traveling to US on business trip next time, I'll extend my trip by a couple of days and then visit South America and then make the trip. Otherwise, from Delhi to or like anywhere from India to South America, it's very big of a haul for flying.
Yeah, I think employee perk like this, where you get to travel for free,
Yeah.
pay only the taxes, is best kept secret for attrition.
Yeah,
And I'm sure all the airlines are getting benefit out of it. Super,
absolutely.
super. And yeah, any notable other perk that you get apart from flying, being an airline employee,
I
which
think
others like us who are somewhat aviation lover, somewhat points and miles lover would only dream of?
I think apart from the opportunity to travel throughout the globe, rest of the benefits are pretty standard in that how you would find across. Like nothing special about health benefits. They're good benefits, insurance,
Yeah.
but they're standard as per the industry standards. But I think to match this travel perk, it does not come. Like
And
hotels is next.
you
Like
get to visit the factory? Do you get to visit? I mean, even if you're not in that specific role, as a financial analyst, do you get to visit those hangars?
yeah. So for example, my this year's plan involves us to be visiting San Francisco and other places where we would take a hangar visit and we'll see how
Oh,
line maintenance gets done.
oh,
And we've already done a couple of airport visits from a POV of how everything gets done from right from check-in counter, how your bags travel and how gate personnel manage everything. It's very hectic. From that lens, it looked like it's miracle only how everything gets done.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
yeah, so it's very very time bound. Very. I
Yeah,
mean, you would think that with robots and with machines and with like so much of automations, it will still be very machine driven, but it's a lot still dependent on human error factor.
yeah.
So it has to be very precise. Yeah.
Can you take your friends to such events?
I think that totally depends upon uh, their availability and if they are like there. So, for example, if you are there in US
Mhm.
and you are already like you don't like I don't have to ask my company for your travel for anything.
Yeah.
And if that particular visit is not coinciding with something confidential, like for example, an airline could be thinking of acquiring something new or another strategy related specific to this or anything of that sort. So in those cases, I might not, like I might not be allowed, but I've seen pictures of people with their families on LinkedIn, like next to planes and in hangars and near
Well,
those facilities. So I think in US it's pretty common, but if you're traveling from India, then it might be a little difficult. But yes, I've seen people take their family for these visits. I'm not a very big enthusiast when it comes to technical things, but planes as a machine or as a like like engine like peak of engineering in one place, and it's massive. The turbines, the engines, and how the whole airframe is put together, and with every heavy maintenance check, the plane is almost like pulled apart and then checked and then brought together. And because these are very very regulated checks that you have to perform after certain years, so
mhm.
they're very thorough and it's insane. Like even this big of a piece, if it has some defect, they will just cut it out and put something else. And this is something that I will learn and see how much time taking this is and how an aircraft being out of service can really impact overall airline economics. So yeah,
They are. It is a bread and butter for them.
exactly. It's their basic product. Like you
They
are
lose
flying
money
people.
whenever it is on the ground.
If it's not flying, then it's sitting just only on your books and it is costing you money for not flying. The opportunity cost is huge, like for a yeah,
Millions of dollars.
yeah, easily basis.
Any destination you visited only because the flight was free?
So this might sound strange, but when I was planning my international travel, Germany was not in my like list at all. So whenever I thought of Europe, because I follow football, I watch Barcelona and La Liga very often. So Spain was always like that. This will be my first like destination, or I'll go there. And so it happens that every time that I have to enter Europe, I enter via Munich, and Munich was never on my list, but it somehow has become my favorite route to enter Europe.
That is an airline and a flight 1:15 a.m. flight, which is like confirmed.
Exactly. I am dead sure that I will make it. I am dead sure that I will take two people also with me. There are so many seats. So it's amazing.
So, piece of advice for someone considering working at an airline, just for travel perks, maybe.
Yeah. So I think airlines is definitely a good space to work in, and depends solely on what stage of career or life you are in and what your goals are. Airlines will give you massive scale in looking at things, and you can build a lot of good things, and especially Indian airspace is now growing.
Yeah.
But if you're traveling only, like if you're joining an airline only for the perks, I think it's still worth it. No matter what I say, it's still worth it. Then it just gets you greedy. Like, I will complete 3 years now with United, and I'm every year has been like a great set of years with full of travel stories. And now I'm married, I will be able to take my wife also on trips, so it'll be great. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
In my opinion, next you should try ANA with your wife, Singapore Airlines with your wife. I have heard stories of Air New Zealand as well. Very hard to get,
yeah,
but they fly Singapore, Auckland. Then next should be Eva, Turkish.
Turkish, yes.
And yeah, I think these five airlines are definite try, in my opinion, for you.
Yep,
While
yep.
you are working with United, you should make it a point that checklist. Okay,
Checklist.
done.
And like I said, I've been a very conservative traveler when it comes to flights, and I have been taking the same carrier again and again because I know I will definitely make it.
Mhm.
I This year I think I'll maybe experiment a bit and then try something new. But yes,
But
definitely.
I can understand that experimenting is little, I mean, it will put you back aside if you miss that flight and the whole plan goes on a toss. And I get that why people would not want to do that,
Mm.
uh, because it makes your entire plan go in a vain.
Right. And especially most of these trips are groups and like with
Yeah.
friends and family. So everyday loss is like their itinerary also getting wasted, and not everybody not being able to enjoy this. And that's why of late every Southeast Asia plan except Japan or let's say South Korea, I would rather book in advance
And you,
revenue and then just travel.
how about domestic? You book revenue?
Domestic I book revenue. Domestic I don't go through the hassle of
Yeah.
multiple routes, because I've seen this, that if you're like, for example, certain carriers are not very like welcoming towards standby, and then they don't respond very well because one, domestic counters are always crowded.
Yeah.
So for them to accommodate standby stress also, it seems unreasonable. And domestic you can get very well, like priced tickets if you just plan ahead of time. And I think the domestic I will never do standby, and that's it.
Kalpit, thank you so much for joining this podcast. It was wonderful talking to you, hearing the stories, knowing about what goes behind the line of how the employee travels for free. And especially for someone like us who is points and miles enthusiast, we knew only this part of the world where you get to travel for free. Thanks for sharing the other side of the picture as well.
I think this was a lovely chat, and like you said, this is a never ending topic.
Yeah.
And I'm a credit card enthusiast myself. Like, I collect points, I maintain a portfolio of cards, and I keep actively look at opportunities where I can, maximize those redemptions. And yeah, this chat will go on for a while, but yes,
Yeah.
as a fellow traveler and credit card and mile enthusiast, I think this chat was lovely. And yeah, we should do this again.
Yeah, definitely. Would love to have you once again,
Yeah.
especially maybe on the points and miles ecosystem, now that we have spoken about the employee side of the world. Thank you so much, Kalpit, once again. And thanks everyone for listening to this podcast. And that's a wrap for our Magnify podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.